Hello and welcome to another pen video from me, Penultimate Dave. So today I have another Visconti in my collection that I wanted to show you, and this is a pen I was after for, I want to say, about a year. This is a pen that I had seen both Stephen Brown and Brian Goulet have. This was a Goulet Pens exclusive, I believe. This is the Visconti Opera Master Crimson Tide. Now, these long sold out, or I think there are still maybe one or two models, one in Asia, one in Brazil, in South America. They didn't have very good swirls in them and weren't that cheap. So I managed to pick this one up on the used market. I've been asking a lot of my followers over the course of the year if they see anyone go up on the market, please let me know. And one of my followers did just that, and they said, "Hey, look, this is a pen. I think it's a Crimson Tide. It's called the Red Demo, and or the Red Swirl." And contacted me. I contacted the seller, and indeed, yes, it is a Crimson Tide, but it was the Asia exclusive rather than the North American Goulet exclusive. So here you are. I'll lift the box lid, and inside here you have this very thin layer, and then you have the box itself. So let's lift the box out, and you'll see a very polished, lacquered box. It's pretty sure it's a wooden box. It's very, very heavy. Like, it's not a light box. If I open the box up, and you'll see the stunning Crimson Tide in there. And this is a pen that I really wanted. You'll also have a Visconti logo there in leather. This is all leather or fake leather. I think it is leather, actually. So let me remove the pen, and so you have an identity card. So this is called this one here is the Opera Demo Red Swirls. It is the Crimson Tide. It's the same material. It's just for Asia they called it the Red Swirls. And you'll see here that this one is limited edition. It's 36 of 38. And it's a palladium, 23 cat palladium nib, double reservoir, power filler, as all the Opera Masters are. So you have the identity card, you have the manual as well, or it's more of a brochure than anything. I'll show you here. Basically, it's a standard Visconti brochure. It shows off, it gives you detail of the history of the company. You see the Visconti Villa there. Some pens being worked on, and you can see the material and then the nibs being examined, and a little bit of brief history. Now it says the director of this Florentine company, founded in 1988, is Dante Del Vecchio. Now Dante has since left Visconti. He is now working for Pinida, but you'll see here there are various heads of state photographed using Visconti pens, and also various well-known actors and actresses as well. You'll see as well here some of the other pens. So you've got the HRH editions, the Divina, and then you have the Alchemy, which is a two-nibbed pen, a nib on each end of the pen. Very expensive pen. You have some other limited editions like the Christian Bible. You have the Istos Arachnus that I have in my collection. Some Rembrandts, some Divinas, the Michelangelo pens, some Homo sapiens there as well. And then the warranty, international warranty, which is a 2-year warranty. So that you get that in the case as well. Now, the person that sold me this had a couple of finials in here. Now these are if I can try and show you, these are the standard Visconti finials. You can see there it says Visconti. For some reason there's two in there. I don't know why. I think maybe he left one in by accident, or decided to just include it anyway. So you have these lovely little Visconti bags. And there's another one as well. Now this did actually have the pen actually has a red jewel on it, so one of these basically replaces that. And I'll show you that in a moment. So this is the pen, and it's an absolutely stunning pen. There were two pens that really started me down the Visconti Grail pen route or road, and the London Fog was one of them, which was my first pen ever from Visconti. And then there was this Crimson Tide. As I said, it does actually have a finial there, and I did have a red one on there, but I've actually swapped that out recently for an orange gemstone instead. And you can remove these with a magnet. It's very easy to do. Now this pen has been inked. I do write with this a lot. Now when I contacted the seller and he said that I have this for sale, he's thinning down his collection. Ideally I'd love it if it was brand new, but obviously you can't get them brand new now, or it's very difficult. So I picked this up used. It hadn't been used that much, as I understand it, from the seller. It is a really, really lovely pen. Now he got it, I believe, in I want to think it was an extra fine or a fine nib, and he didn't like the nib. I think it was an extra fine, he said, and he didn't like the nib, so he changed it out to a stub. Going from an extra fine or a fine to a stub is a lot of difference. He didn't like the stub and decided because of that he would sell the pen, and it's a shame. Like I don't know why he didn't like it in his collection, but it's a lovely pen, and I absolutely adore this pen. Like some people just don't like the ribbons as much. Some people don't like demonstrators as much. But this is a lovely, lovely pen, and I really do adore it. So there's a little bit of ink in the cap here and a bit of ink in the barrel here, but I'll show you. So in terms of the ribbon, what I'll do, let me pull back the piston, and you'll get a better idea of what this ribbon looks like. Add a bit more light to it. So you can see here the swirls on this ribbon is just amazing. I love that effect. It is an amazing ribbon with all that red, the white in there as well, the varying shades of red. It's just a stunning, stunning pen. Now you will see some inky residue of water there. You'll also see the O-ring is tinted a little bit red. That will happen on these pens, on these PowerVac pens. A little bit of ink in the cap here as well. We need to do a better job in cleaning that out. But this is a stunning pen. If I actually just screw the piston knob back up again, show you the size of this pen. It is an oversized pen for sure. It is a very weighty pen, but it is a lovely, lovely pen. Now, I tend to ink this up with Diamine Wild Strawberry. It's a lovely, lovely red ink, and it goes really well. Now, you can post the cap if you want to. It then becomes a behemoth. So, like, you really cannot, like, that is just crazy. So I never cap or post the pen. But it is a lovely, lovely pen. Has a metal section, has a 23 carat palladium nib. As I mentioned, this is a 1.3mm stub. Now, when I went to buy it, I had my friend Chris at Truffet broker the deal for me. At that point, I really hadn't written with stubs, and I was like, well, you know what, I'm really not sure that I want a stub nib on this. And Chris offered to maybe take the nub, get the nib off, get a replacement fine or medium nib. That was going to cost a little bit more money, and I said, well, you know what, look, I've never tried a stub nib from Visconti, so let's just I'll try the nib first, and then I can always buy a nib and screw it in later if I want to. So I tried this nib and I absolutely adored it. And since then I've got, I think, probably another 5 or 6 stub nibs, and I really do like the stub nibs. So this is a lovely, lovely line variation that you'll get there on this nib. Um, Now it's a screw thread metal section. That's just something to bear in mind. Now, a lot of people think metal sections very sort of slippery. I do not find that. I do not find that at all with this pen. So, but just look at the swirls on this pen. It's just an amazing pen, and so glad that I was able to add this to my collection. And this is, I think, probably another pen that I will probably never part with, because I looked hard and long for about a year, if not just over a year, to try and get a Crimson Tide, and it was just really, really difficult. And just as my luck had it, this one became available. Within days, a friend messaged me and said, "Hey, look, I've seen this pen on PenSwap. Take a look at it." And I took a look at it, and it was like, yeah, I need to find a way of getting this pen. So that's the lovely Crimson Tide. It's just a stunning, stunning pen. It's very weighty as well. So obviously you have the body there, you have the piston knob here. Now if I try to zoom in, you'll see the engraving here. So this is 36 of 38. But it is a lovely, lovely pen. And it's a pen that I really, really do adore. And I love also that Visconti have actually made this clip enamel red on it as well. Just makes the pen stand out so much better having it like that. This is just an amazing, amazing pen. So what we'll do a size check. So let's take the pen out and put the box away. Just move the box out of the way a bit. Now, in terms of the pen, we're talking length, total length. We're looking at about 155, I think 150, well, I think not taking it to the gemstone, it's about 154, 155 millimeters. So that's quite a lengthy pen. The cap itself, you're looking at 70 millimeters, and then the pen. Now this pen won't roll because it's faceted. The pen from the tines to, you're looking at about 143, 144 millimeters. So this is a large pen. Now what I'll do, I'll show you against some other pens so you can see here. See if I can get some more pens out. So we have, let's get the London Fog. What other pens? We'll take just a Homo sapiens Lava. We'll take a Divina Metropolitan. We'll take a standard oversize Divina. We'll look at a Pelican M600 turquoise white. Look at the M800 Royal Gold Rawdon. The Pelican M1000. And then I guess just to do a bit of a check, a Classic Pens LB5 and an Armando Simone Club Bologna Extra Arco. So as you can see, that is quite a size difference. It's actually not far off the LB5 and the ASC Bologna Extra in terms of length. It is a very weighty pen as well. So hopefully you can see there a bit of a comparison on some other pens. Okay, let's try and do a writing sample, shall we? So, this is the Visconti Opera Master Crimson Tide in a 1.3mm stub. Now, this is inked up with Diamine Wild Strawberry, and let's just do some line variation. So it's a stub. You're already going to get a large line variation out of this. Now you could push it a little bit harder, but you're gonna get a little bit more, but it's a stub already. So in terms of swirls, I'm not going to push this nib, and you can see here in terms of just standard lines, there's a little bit of a hard start sort of here and there on this nib. It is a very bouncy nib. It probably is a little bit over polished, but in terms of wetness, okay, let's look at the wetness on this. So this is a pretty wet nib. So again, in terms of wetness, this is a fire hose of a nib from Visconti. So some people like fire hose nibs, some people don't. I started off not liking fire hoses, but I really do like them now because they are wet. They actually make the writing experience much more luxurious. They tend to smoothen out any bumps that you have on the page when you're writing, because it's putting a much thicker layer of ink down onto the page. So the nib is more gliding above the page than actually on the page. So that's one of the reasons why I tend to like fire hose nibs, and Visconti usually doesn't disappoint in terms of wetness of their nibs. I would say that they have changed a little bit. The models that I have had in 2017, the newer models like the Brunelleschi, the Homo sapiens elegans, the Medici, I had a couple of Medicis, they all wrote actually quite dry. I really had to floss the tines with some brass shims to really open those up and make them write a lot more wetter. So that's just something to bear in mind, that not all Viscontis will come really wet. If you like a wet nib, that's great. Just keep an eye out. If you can, write test with a pen first. It's probably best to do so, or take it to a nibmeister. If a pen is writing too dry and you don't want to floss the tines with a brass shim, take it to a nibmeister and they should be able to correct it for you. If a pen is writing too wet, a nibmeister can modify the nib for you. It will take a lot more work, but they can make it write drier. A good nibmeister will be able to do that, no problems whatsoever. If you're going to take it to a nibmeister, ideally it's best to do a show, because that way then you can test the nib whilst they're working on the nib and give feedback on whether or not it's too wet still or too dry. If you can't visit a show with a nibmeister, then you can send one off. You send your pen off and just give them an example of how wet you want it. A lot of times they will send you a little video and actually show you how wet it is now. Is this okay? you want it tweaked a little bit more. So a decent Nibmeister. I'm thinking of Mark Bacchus here. He's a really good Nibmeister, and he really does a good job with modifying pens. I know Mike Masuyama and others as well. Dan Smith of Nibsmith. They all do some pretty good work on pens. And in the UK, you've got John Sirocco as well. So there you have it. This is my review of the Visconti Opera Master Crimson Tide. Thanks for watching. Please like, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next pen video. Bye bye.